I'm most proud in this past year of the fact that we have taken a step to really take on what I see as the grand challenge of public education in the United States, in our state, and also in our community. And that is, how is it that we really ensure that when we say all means all is an anchor way of thinking about what we want for each young person we serve, that we see equity and access as being a critical challenge? How do we make sure that every child that enters our school doors, and I call our schools Statue of Liberty schools, receives what they need so that they can really realize their hopes and dreams? And I think that we see it in the data. You know, I'm so proud we've just released that we have a 94.7% one-time graduation rate. That means the kids that started in 9th grade and left us as seniors this last year, that 94.7% of them finished on time. Some of them take a little bit longer, but we have a significant number of kids who finish our schools just exactly as we would expect them to. We also know that our dropout rate is 2.8%, which is one of the very best in the state of Virginia, well above the state and the national averages. By any measure, whether it's our SOL assessments, whether it's our local performance assessments, whether it's our SATs, AP scores, our kids shine.
Our only statutory job of hiring is that of a superintendent. And we have taken that job very seriously. We have had multiple meetings among our school division looking at a variety of options. As you know, one could do a national search, one could look internally, and the pros and cons of all those approaches, both of those approaches were vigorously discussed, and I'd be happy to answer questions later. But in the end, we decided that the main reasons for looking outside is when your school division is not performing well. Ours is. When you don't have someone with the skills that can take over. We do. And so today I'd like to also announce the school board's appointment of Matt Haas. Now I'm getting teary. As the successor superintendent. We did a rigorous evaluation, even though we opted not to do a search. We interviewed Matt and asked him for materials and ideas going forward and a game plan for how he would operate as a superintendent. And we were quite impressed with that, and we were absolutely persuaded that Matt was ready for the job of a superintendent, and we decided that we wanted him to be our superintendent.
Obviously, it's a very humbling experience for me. I am very grateful to the board, to Kate, Jono, the rest of the board for their confidence in me and offering me this opportunity, which is an incredible opportunity. Albemarle County Schools is, as you've heard a couple of times now, nationally ranked and appreciated school division for all the great work that we have happening here. You know, I can't say enough to thank Pam for really raising me as a school administrator. I came here with experience, but I know in no way knew then what I know now after 13 years of working under Pam. I always say that she taught me everything I know, but there's really no way she could ever share everything she knows, because she really is a consummate school administrator. You're not going to find a better superintendent. So I know I'm going to be working to fill big shoes. The board has asked me what my priority will be moving into the role in July. And really my first priority will be to transition into the job. I'm going to treat it as if I'd come in from the outside, because I've built a lot of cultural knowledge about the school division over time. I know the facts and figures, and I know the people, but I only really know it from the role that I'm in now as the deputy superintendent and having served as a building level administrator. I really need to see it from Pam's vantage point, which is a whole nother ball game. So that'll be my top priority, is to learn the division, go on a listening tour, hear what people have to say, all the stakeholders, and from there I'll have a new perspective. So moving forward, I'll have that to work with. In terms of strengths, the strengths that I think that have made the division great, building up leadership from within, recognizing people's talents, sharing decision making, those are my strengths, and I've learned them here to the level that I've learned them. And moving forward, there's only one superintendent, at a time. And that's Dr. Moran. I'm gonna, someday I'm gonna really miss hearing from Pam as much as I do now. I'm sure I'm still always gonna hear from you, and I don't know what I'd do without you. But until that time in July, I'm all in with Pam. We got big projects we've got going on. As Pam mentioned, we've got an equity initiative that we had in the budget last year, and it's embedded in our strategic work. We've got a big project around transitioning to a new high school model that we refer to as High School 2022, and a multitude of other of work that's going on right now for the benefit of students and employees. So that's my main objective right now, is to support Pam and support the board in that work, as I've done through the years, and I'm going to keep doing it.
And I think that for me, the most important part of today is making sure that as I move into this next stage of a transition as I go through this year, that we are all in as a community on making sure that our schools are the very best that they can be for every single child, regardless of where they live, what their circumstances of life happen to be, what it is that they want to pursue as they move forward into the future, whether it's our High School 2022 initiative that's going to change the way we think about high schools, whether it's the work that we're doing in elementary schools to be sure that every child finds joy, passion, and inspiration in learning, and also leaves with the skill sets they need to be successful as they move forward. No matter where we go, what I'm really looking for is that this school system continues to shine and be what I think is a sense of hope for other systems around the country who look to us and say, if Albemarle County can do that, so can we. I really appreciate that with the board making this decision. What it sets up is something that is very unique, and that is the opportunity to have a transition period where a current superintendent and an incoming superintendent get to really partner through a lot of decisions. And as you know, we have our funding request from the superintendent that will be just around the corner. We have many decisions that have to be made between now and the time that July 1 of 2018 comes. And one of the things that I think that will allow this school division to have an incredibly smooth transition is the opportunity for Matt and I to partner together and with our teams in order to make that next step. So I see it as an opportunity for us to both mentor and reverse mentor each other as we move forward. You oftentimes see Matt's quotes in press releases, or you'll see that Matt's handled a particular situation or taken a lead on something like High School 2022. Those things happen not by chance, but very purposefully, because one of the goals that I have is that we grow talent inside Albemarle, whether it's at the teacher level, the bus driver level, the principal level, or even the deputy superintendent level. So in many ways, Matt's expertise represents a lot of opportunities that he's taken advantage of to become a leader, and he would be a strong superintendent any place he went. Albemarle is going to be incredibly fortunate to have him assume this role, because what he will bring is, as he said, the knowledge of the system, but also Matt's a person who's a real innovator and a believer in how do we constantly take a look at every practice we have, and if we can figure out a way to do it better or to improve upon it or to make it something that better resonates for our kids, that's what he's all about. And I think that's the Albemarle way. It's what I inherited, and I think it's what he will take forward. And I fully expect to see Albemarle at the end of 2018-19 to be an even better place for kids than it is today as a result of his leadership with our board.
I'm all in with Pam.